Gohan pulled it out! Hey guys, Zuli here. Today I'm going to be talking about episode 80 of Dragon Ball Super that came out a few hours ago. Oh, this is like a first. I'm actually reviewing this on time. I promised you guys I would. I'm going to get on this like consistently. I'm going to hammer it down. But anyway, yeah, let's get on to the episode review. Okay, to begin, it starts from where we left off with Gohan and Lavender kind of squaring up. And they walk to the center of the ring, and then the match begins. And they begin by sharing a flurry of punches. And Gohan is holding his own. He's doing well. It's pretty much even. No one's holding back. And essentially, after a few seconds of them squaring off, essentially Lavender catches Gohan by surprise, and I believe he spits some like poison mist at him. And it hits him because he kind of grabs him, so he can't move. And it goes in his eyes and it blinds him. And for like the rest of the episode, Gohan is essentially blinded. That's what that purple ring around his eyes was, and that's what we all like speculated. Like he was blinded. Like I don't look at spoilers at the moment. I'm not really. I do maybe know a little bit because I watch like all the big Dragon Ball YouTubers who talk about this, but I don't consciously look at spoilers. But yeah, anyway, Gohan's blinded, and Lavender starts beating him up, obviously, and knocking him about, and the Universe 9 Supreme Kai is all happy that Lavender's winning, obviously, and Lavender's enjoying it. He's really like sadistic. Like this guy's a sadistic fuck. He's really enjoying beating Gohan up and seeing him suffer pretty much, which is kind of disgusting, really. But you know, we get all these kind of characters. It's pretty common in Dragon Ball, in all honesty. It doesn't really bother me. It was kind of scary for me because it made me really wonder how Gohan's gonna get out of it, and like, is he really gonna be hurt? Like originally from the last episode, I predicted that Gohan was gonna pull this fight out and barely win. That's what I was thinking, and I thought he'd get really hurt from Lavender, and I was pretty much right, in all honesty. Like a lot of people thought Gohan was gonna lose, but I didn't see that. I didn't think he would. But yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later. But anyway, yeah, Gohan starts off struggling, and Mr. Satan, Goku, and all that are talking about how Gohan's going to get out of this. And Mr. Satan's kind of freaking out, saying, this is unfair, you know what I mean? He's blinded, so that's not really fair. But Goku says, like, anything goes in this when we fight. And Goku's not too worried. He's confident in Gohan's ability to pull this through. And essentially, after a while of Gohan getting beaten up, Gohan starts to stop trying to look around, and he ends up concentrating and just listening and kind of sensing where he is by using the rest of his senses, which was really cool. It does show how skilled of a fighter Gohan is, really. Like, people don't really think, but Gohan is very skilled. He's got natural ability. Even though he doesn't love fighting, he only fights if he has to. He is very naturally gifted, and this really proves that. But anyway, he starts to sense where Lavender is through, like, his other senses, like his sound and everything. And, he starts blocking Lavender and getting a few hits in. And Lavender starts to get a bit frustrated because Gohan's, like, fighting back, and he doesn't really like it. And, New Universe 9 are quite surprised that Gohan can do that. And, the two Zenos are also happy that Gohan's, being able to fight back even though he's blinded. And essentially, from what we learn later in the episode, what Lavender uses, he uses it for his punches as well, because he has a purple aura around his hands, which I assume that means that essentially Lavender uses poison. He has like a poison ability, or he naturally creates poison, and he can create poisonous gas through his mouth, and he kind of spits it out at people. But yeah, so essentially, Gohan's pretty much poisoned, and the poison spreads. It basically spreads over time. So obviously Gohan's on a bit of a time bomb, and he needs to kind of defeat Lavender while he has his strength, or else he'll just lose. But the Zenos are impressed with Gohan, and essentially Lavender eventually knowing that he knows that Gohan's like listening to where he is through sound and everything, so he decides to fly upwards so Gohan can't hear where he is, which is actually quite clever. And Whis kind of comments that, yeah, that is pretty clever, like it's a good strategy from Lavender, because it's like changing it up so Gohan doesn't know where he is. But yeah, essentially Lavender starts to attack Gohan with energy blasts, and for a little while Gohan is getting hurt. Essentially he's getting hit by them and he doesn't know where he is, but Gohan kind of has enough of being hit, and he turns Super Saiyan, which is obviously, I was waiting for him to do it, like before he turned Super Saiyan. The whole time I was just like, come on Gohan, like crank it up. But yeah, and essentially something cool he does is he ends up being able to know where Lavender and his blasts are coming from, because they explain that when he's a Super Saiyan, essentially what he does, he uses his energy, because obviously he has a huge amount of ki flowing around him. He actually uses the ki around him and bounces it off different things. So like if a blast is coming at him, he uses his ki and it bounces off the blast, and then Gohan will know where it is. I'm really bad at explaining it, but I think you kind of get the picture if you've seen the episode. But yeah, so Gohan kind of has a radar sight, which he says something like that. But yeah, and that's really cool. So Gohan starts to get the upper hand again, and he charges at Lavender and starts to attack him, and he's doing well. And Gohan is getting the upper hand, and Lavender's trying to get shots in, he can't. And Universe 9's kind of like, oh my gosh, Lavender's losing. And essentially then Gohan smashes Lavender down, and he's going in for a like big attack to finish it. But then he suddenly collapses and goes back into its base form. And essentially him going Super Saiyan accelerated the effects of the poison. And yeah, Gohan's kind of down. So Lavender takes his chance to capitalize and start attacking Gohan again and beating him up pretty bad. And something cool, I believe it was after Lavender beats him down quite a bit, the Supreme Kai, Universe 7 Supreme Kai, says to Gohan, have a Senzu Bean, because he has Senzu Beans with him, which we didn't actually know. Well, I didn't anyway. And essentially, he says, if Universe 9 can use like medicines, then we can as well. But Gohan actually refuses to take it, which I wasn't too surprised about. But in this kind of situation, considering it's not a big tournament, I guess Gohan could take a chance. He pretty much says, no, I don't want to take it. I want to win with my own strength and show everyone how strong I am. And that's nice to see from Gohan, because it shows that he does care about how strong he is, and he really wants to kind of like push himself, and he really wants to do this on his own to prove that he can win without anything else, but only using his own strength. And I really like that, and that's why I really respect Gohan. Like, although he always doesn't want to fight, he does have that kind of little bit of pride there, and he wants to show that he can do this on his own. He's strong, and that's nice to see. And it does show that Gohan has got a good mentality, and pretty much, and I just love that. But anyway, yeah, Gohan essentially gets beat up a bit more after that, and then he finds the strength to turn Super Saiyan again, and he starts to fight back again. But the poison, he keeps fighting Lavender, and Lavender's a bit surprised, but he's kind of happy because he knows the poison's going to continue to spread. And essentially, after a while, the poison does start to creep up his body and do more damage to him. But Gohan fights through it, which shows his determination, really. And something I really loved was Lavender, when Gohan was struggling, Lavender shot a load of poison in his face, but Gohan kind of he flew through the cloud of poison by using his strength. And he caught Lavender by surprise because he thought Gohan was just going to choke. And Lavender says, oh, you caught me by surprise. I let my guard down. And then Gohan has an opening. So he like beats Lavender up quite a lot. He like starts punching him. And then Gohan's ready to finish this. Like he powers up again. Like I think beforehand, like, yeah, he punches him and then he powers up more than before. And essentially, when he gets an opening from Lavender letting his guard down, he kind of grabs onto him, like kind of a full Nelson-ish kind of hold, but not as over the top. He just kind of grabs him, and he essentially flies up in the air. And this reminded me a bit of Pokemon, like Charizard. He essentially flies up in the air, and he kind of does like a seismic toss, where he like flies downward incredibly fast, and then smashes into the ground. But the only difference is pretty much Gohan couldn't let Lavender go, and they both had to take the fall. So he essentially uses all his strength to smash Lavender down into the ground. And it turns out that after the big attacks happened, Lavender kind of moves a little bit, and then he just faints. So Gohan kind of wins. But Gohan's pretty down, and he starts to get up, and then he eventually gets up, but says like, "Yeah, I won." Pretty much, he says, I won this match. But unfortunately, then his body gives out and he falls down. So the match ends in a tie, which I was happy with that result. It would have been nice to have Gohan win, just barely, but technically in my eyes he kind of did win, because he got up and Lavender didn't, and then he collapsed. So I'd say Gohan won that. But the Omni King's attendant, the King of the Angels, I need to learn his name. I said I'd do that, I will learn it. But yeah, he basically says it's a tie. So I personally think Gohan should have won, but a tie's fine. He did well. And essentially Goku gives Gohan a Senzu Bean. And Gohan is kind of frustrated with himself, because essentially Goku says like, "You're really strong, Gohan, you did great." And Gohan says, "Thanks, but I'm not strong enough." Like, he's annoyed that he's lost, which is good to see from Gohan, because it shows he's gonna probably train in between the Universal Survival Arc, like the big tournament. And essentially, yeah, Gohan's like, "I'm not strong enough. I'm strong, but I need to be stronger," and that was nice to see. So essentially, the match ended in a draw. And after the match has concluded, the Omni King's attendants, the two Omni Kings attendant, he basically explains to the other universes, because they didn't know before this, that the losers of the Universal Survival Tournament will be erased, and everyone just kind of freaks out, and it's quite funny. Shampa's going mental, and he also brought something up. I'm gonna have to watch this scene again and like kind of analyze it, just like watch a few videos about it, but. Essentially, he brings up this kind of strange like rating that he was talking about. He said like the average mortal power level of the universes. He talks about that, and he says that Universe 7's average mortal power levels are the second to bottom out of all the universes, which kind of makes sense, I think. But it's kind of surprising, really. I'm not sure what that's about, but I can't remember all the universes. I believe he said like Universe 5 and a few others. Because they have really high power levels, they won't be in the tournament, which I found kind of interesting. Like, it shows they're holding a little bit back, I think. I believe that's what he kind of said, but like I think a couple of the universes might not be participating, by the sounds of it. But yeah, and they obviously won't be erased, but because they have the higher mortal power levels, which is kind of strange. I need to kind of look over that again, but I found that kind of interesting, and it's quite funny. Essentially, Goku says, "If we're the second bottom, who is the bottom?" And then the attendant kind of says, "Well, you can kind of guess that." And then Universe 9 starts to freak out, which is kind of funny, because obviously they're the weakest out of all the universes by the sounds of it, for their average mortal power level. It doesn't mean they don't have strong fighters within that universe. Like, it's not saying flat out they're the weakest or Universe 7 is second bottom to weakest. It's just saying out of all the mortals in their universe, like, their average mortal power level is low. So like, you could have loads of weak people in a universe, and then you could have 10 really strong guys for the tournament. Like, just because the average is weak, it doesn't mean the rest of like the team that they choose can't be extremely powerful, which is kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, overall, the episode pretty much ends with Goku going over to the ring, and he's going to be fighting. Sorry, I just got up on my phone. I couldn't remember his name because I wrote it down. He's going to be fighting Bergamo, who is the blue kind of wolf. Bergamo the Crusher. That's what they called him in the next episode preview. But yeah. Anyway, Goku's excited, and him and Gohan have a little fist bump, which is cool. But I think that about wraps up my review of this episode. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was nice to see Gohan back in the action, and it was nice to see Gohan with like a fighting spirit. And I just really enjoyed the way this episode panned out. I was happy with the result, and I thought it was a good way to do Gohan. I'll just quickly point out that people might say like Gohan's like kind of weak in this fight, but you gotta kind of realize that he was kind of poisoned, so he couldn't fight it at his max potential. Like he could only go Super Saiyan, and yeah, he's poisoned, so he's losing energy constantly. So you gotta take that into account. And it got worse over time. I'm sure he has a lot more in the tank, guys, so don't worry. But yeah, I really enjoyed the episode, and something I'm gonna bring up really quick. I am gonna be doing my episode preview discussion later on today. I'm not gonna upload it straight away after this one like I normally do once I've done it, because I am actually gonna go out in a little while and see some of my friends for a few hours, and then I'll come back and make the video. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Well, if you want to, you don't have to, but it really does help the channel. Comment about what you thought of the episode and what I can improve on in my videos. And if you want to see more, please consider subscribing. That would be awesome. I'd be happy to see you guys again. Anyway, my name's Zuli, and I'm out, guys.